In Boston, that dramatic terror takedown, a man who authorities say had been under 24-hour surveillance by the FBI, believed to have been inspired by ISIS. Today, that 6'5" suspect turning on authorities, they say coming after them with a military-style knife. They released this image of the knife today. They shot him dead, and this evening comes word of an arrest in the case and a number of searches underway right now. ABC's Tom Yamas is on the scene in Boston.
Yeah, we have gentleman, black male, 60, coming out armed with a knife.
Police transmissions capture the final moments. A man allegedly armed with that large military knife charged an FBI agent and Boston police officer in this parking lot.
It's a top 5 unit. It's a top 5.
26-year-old Usama Rahim had been under 24-hour surveillance by a terrorism task force that knew he was armed this morning.
Someone we were watching for quite a time.
At 7:18 a.m., the two officers confront Rahim in this CVS parking lot to question him about terror-related information. Police say Rahim then comes at the officers with the knife. The officers retreat backwards, ordering Rahim to drop the weapon. Police say Rahim gets dangerously close to the officers. That's when they both fire, hitting him in the torso and abdomen. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News they're investigating whether Rahim, who lived in this Roslindale apartment complex in Boston, had been inspired by ISIS through the terror network's social media campaign. Rahim's brother, a local imam, took to social media claiming his brother was on his way to work when Boston police shot him in the back. The shooting comes months after a lone wolf terror-related attack in New York City. Surveillance video capturing this man attacking uniformed officers with a hatchet before being shot dead by police. Law enforcement says he was inspired by ISIS through social media. And David, tonight, that new arrest in connection with the terror investigation that brought authorities right here to Usama Rahim. There are a number of related searches connected to this case happening right now in Boston. David?
Tom Yamas leading us off from
Just after dawn last Sunday, a pickup races into view. It's full of Islamic State fighters in desert camouflage, their faces covered. The silent security camera records what we rarely see, a jihadi attack on a Libyan checkpoint. This is Abu Ghraib, on Libya's front line with the Islamic State. Another camera shows a view from inside the empty checkpoint. The jihadis are mid-frame to the left, the guards 50 yards away along the road. They're militiamen from the port of Misrata. In recent days, they've been retreating from Sirte. Now watch the jihadi. He strides out into the middle of the road, firing, points, and then makes a throat-slitting motion. The Misrata militia is firing back. The jihadi's comrade takes a bullet and falls. He's injured and crawls to the cover of the vehicle. The Islamic State militants try to rescue the casualty, but they came out on top, killing 3 Misrata militiamen in this 30-minute-long engagement. It shows that their tactics are effective, they're well trained. This is the second dawn attack on a Misrata militia checkpoint in the last 10 days. Libyan security sources say there may be 2,000 IS fighters in Sirte, the majority Tunisians. Without a deal, Libya will descend further into anarchy and violence, and the militants of the Islamic State will be free to spread their terror not only across Libya, but beyond.
10 months into the US-led war against Islamic State and 1,000 airstrikes later, President Obama admits he still doesn't know how to combat the growing threat.
We don't yet have a complete strategy because it requires commitments on the part of the Iraqis as well.
The lack of a concrete plan isn't stopping most Americans from backing their president in the campaign. A recent poll suggests almost 70% of US citizens believe that ISIL poses a major threat to their country, and around 62% support sending American troops to Iraq. Guy Nature-Jacan now asks if US citizens have a deep enough understanding what Islamic State is and why they're fighting it.
For many months, the U.S. has been bombing ISIS targets in Iraq and in Syria, arming and training Iraqi forces and Syrian rebels, and all without a strategy. How much do people on this side of the fence know about what's being decided on the other side? Let's find out. Do you know what the U.S. is doing to fight them, to fight against ISIS?
No, I don't.
The U.S. is after ISIS. Do you know why?
No, I don't know a whole lot about the Middle East.
I think there's a lot of concern by everybody, but I think we're also very confident that we'll do the right thing.
But how, you don't know how to fight ISIS?
I've taken a lot of Islamic studies, quite frankly, and I don't know how to answer that because it's something that is beyond my understanding.
I don't know how, I don't know what could be done militarily.
We need to have a full strategy before we do anything else, and we don't have a full strategy yet.
Do you think the U.S. should just keep bombing?
I don't really know. That's why he gets paid the big bucks and he gets to live in that house over there.
When Americans see the terrible things that ISIS does, most of them want their government to do something. But what they don't seem to know is what to do in order not to turn it into more of a mess than it is now. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan.